I love me some German series, and Netflix is gracing us with a limited series that's a mix of past and present. Cassandra looks at when home automation can go sideways, but is the story worth investing in? Germany's oldest smart home has remained empty since its owners perished under mysterious circumstances over 50 years ago. In the present day, when a new family moves in, electronic home assistant Cassandra awakens from her decades-long slumber. Alright, so this follows two timelines. One in the present, where a family has moved into this house that has sat abandoned for quite some time. The home has monitors in every room and a massive computer system in the basement, making it the first smart home in the country. Now, when the family discovers a robot and tinkers until it comes online, they're greeted with an ever-present personality and assistant named Cassandra. We also are shown the events that led to Cassandra's creation, and the family that resided in the home half a century before. Now, I thought at first this might have a near-future aesthetic to it, giving us robots that take care of the home, but it's taken place solidly in the present, just using retro-looking equipment to create the futuristic 70s vibe of the home that feels nostalgic, but also out of date. Now, the two alternating timelines, they're easy to keep track of, and each carry their own unique set of complications and plot twists. The one thing both have in common are marriages that are experiencing some rockiness, and then maternal figures who would do anything to protect their children. Now, storytelling runs the risk of becoming choppy thanks to the alternating sequences that move us from present to past and vice versa. Thankfully, though, these have a fluid feeling to them. So as we watch things play out in the present, when something quirky or intriguing pops up and it has a parallel within the past, we're then shown what that something is, giving us context and understanding without making it feel as though we're being spoon-fed information or that the story is being dumbed down for the audience. Now, this is a fast watch with 6 episodes that are each around 50 minutes. The urgency and suspense that builds drives up the momentum and keeps the pacing taut, even when the story itself has slowed down for a portion. You can feel the tension grow exponentially through each episode, and as we learn more about the past and then watch events unfold in the present, the danger and slight fear, they increase too. And this show gets dark at points. I mean, there were at least 4 different situations that shocked me. One is very abrupt, while the others are more devious and emotionally pointed. Now, I'd mentioned the shared themes of marriages that aren't completely healthy or happy, and that strain, I think it's demonstrated well in both timelines. I like, too, that the story brings in an arc of gaslighting, but it's also not clear-cut on how it is executed and then why. The complexity the storytelling creates and then maintains makes this for a thrilling ride, using desires, hurts, even love to twist experiences and then pervert motives. There are a few times within this where we question who the villain is, and if there's more than one, too. I mean, on one hand, one character, mostly obvious, warping intentions to suit needs. But then there are more subtle characters who act in ways that appear possibly altruistic or pure, but instead are selfish and cruel. Now, if you're someone who doesn't appreciate having smart devices in your home because the gadgets are always listening, this is going to certainly tweak those discomforts and reinforce your decision to keep the mechanical spying out of the house. It's disconcerting to watch the family in the present quickly accept the monitors in every room, always with this face watching over them. And because the face is a real image of someone, there's an even deeper level of creepiness. Truly, just having this voyeur in every room, offering zero solace or privacy. I mean, what if you just had lunch and dinner at Chipotle, and now it's kicking in? I mean, it's already uncomfortable, right? But then to have this woman's oversized head looking down on you while you're in gastric distress? No thanks. Now, I was impressed with the effects in this. They all appeared to be practically executed, which made the scenes with the robot performing specialized tasks all the more cool. Having an oversized vacuum move through the house, that's not all that exciting. But watching it utilize sharp and stabby things to prepare dinners and take care of items, the scenes looked fantastic, especially with a shallower depth of field, creating an artsy but not pretentious appearance. And these sequences also add some tension because at some point, technology, yeah, we know, it's going to go a bit wonky. And the deftness at which the tools can be wielded is both terrifying and foreboding. The coloring in this is also wonderful. The present is a bit brighter, but also a little bluer, creating this cold and slightly menacing quality of the visuals. The past, it's more darkly lit, using warmer lights and then a lot of earth tones that were just prevalent within the 70s. Now, this doesn't create anything menacing necessarily, but it does bring about a melancholic atmosphere that matches the emotional mood for the family for a lot of the story. And it's not a wholly gloomy feeling, but there's definitely a sadness that's ever present in the home. I mentioned that there are some rather dark themes within the series. One is exceptionally brutal, but it also has a bit of a notion that it was thrown in for shock value, and maybe even as a later decision because the particular element, while traumatic, is pretty much forgotten, only to be revisited towards the end. And it doesn't remove any icky feeling that you're going to get because of what happens, but it also made me wonder if the writers were maybe looking for a natural way to wrap up the story, but hadn't left themselves anything that made sense. Till the light bulb went on and we were like, hey, what if we do this? And then they did it. I mean, this isn't something that I think is going to break you out of the world that's been crafted, but after thinking about it for a bit, it does seem a little convenient, certainly twisted, but to go into this direction. And I'm sure that was as clear as mud thanks to all that vagueness, just trying to avoid spoilers. Now, this was a strong watch. The writing, while containing some conveniences to allow actions to come to fruition, along with some obvious and predictable setups, still delivers a thrilling dark drama filled with stress and apprehension. The production aesthetics create a vibrant world, one that is ominous yet hopeful, threatening but protective. The theme of family is excellently communicated, creating ferocious and vigilant maternal figures who are always on guard for their loved ones. When guilt trips and gaslighting are introduced, the storytelling follows twisty paths, leading us to uneasy and dread-filled scenarios that make for haunting arcs and uncomfortable sequences. The excitement and nervousness will have you on the edge of your seat while you constantly look over your shoulder to make sure your smart devices aren't scheming behind you. There is sex, a little nudity, a bunch of profanity, and a lot of violence. I give Cassandra 4.5 out of 5 couches. And this is an excellent limited series that is perfect if you're in the mood for something a little gloomy, but also intriguing. All right, what are you binging right now? Anything good? I'd love to have your recommendations in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.